Yo, what's poppin' Pokepals? Rare Boy here, and I'm back with another impossible Pokemon challenge. Today we're going to find out if it's possible to beat Pokemon Ruby using only a Cubchoo. The reason why I chose Cubchoo is because, well, look at him. He's the cutest little thing ever. Before we can begin our challenge, I first need to import Cubchoo sprites into our version of Pokemon Ruby. Once the sprites are in the game, I then need to edit the game's internal data, so this once empty data now functions exactly like a Cubchoo would. I code in its typing, base stats, and other essentials to turn this once empty data to function exactly as a Cubchoo would in Gen 3. Now that Cubchoo is in our game, let's review the rules of the run. The first rule is that I'm only allowed to use Cubchoo in battle. We are allowed to capture other Pokemon for HM usage, but they cannot assist Cubchoo by any other means. The second rule is that I'm not allowed to use items in battle. Held items such as leftovers are okay, but items such as X items or Hyper Potions are banned until the battle has ended. And finally, no glitches or exploits will be used to complete this game. It's just a normal playthrough of Pokemon Ruby, but with the Cubchoo. With the rules explained in our Cubchooing game, let's jump into some gameplay. The first thing that I do is pick up our Cubchoo from Professor Birch's bag. For this run, I replaced Trico so our rival takes Torchic for even more of a challenge. I nickname our little polar bear Sniffles because the poor little dude suffers from the sniffles. I take a look at his stats and he has a hasty nature, which means more speed but less defense, which is meh. With Sniffles now on the team, it's time to conquer the Hoenn region. I rushed straight into Roxanne's fight at level 16 thinking it would be enough, but boy was I wrong. Cubchoo is a very frail Pokemon, and being slammed by super effective rock moves just straight up annihilates us. After training on nothing but Ralts for special attack EVs, we rematched Roxanne at level 20, and while we still took huge damage from Rock Tomb, we were able to outmuscle her for a safe and quick victory. I went into Brawly's fight just shy of level 24, and it started off great with nearly one-shotting Machop and only taking a weak-sized McToss before taking it down. Makuhita is super tanky and took our hits well, but only went for Sand Attack. I opted for Powder Snow since it has better accuracy, and we froze the Mini Sumo only for him to immediately defrost and land 2 weak Arm Thrust on us. Just shy of healing range, we get a high roll on our next Powder Snow and win the fight. Honestly, I didn't think we were ready for this fight, but Sniffle said otherwise. The Brendan fight was insane. Wilmer started off lowering our attack with Growl, which was an issue, but we managed to freeze him with Powder Snow, so we took him down without losing any HP. Combustion came in and I tried to freeze Hax with Powder Snow, but landed a crit instead as he went for Focus Energy. Our second Powder Snow put Combustion into Blaze range, and his Ember nearly one-shotted us. Icy Wind just barely gets the KO, as Shroomish comes in and gets one-shotted by Icy Wind. A close fight, but we prevail. Just as I suspected, Watson is nowhere near close to beating. His Magnemite walls us hard, and we unfortunately can't get Dig until after this gym, so it's time for a crazy grind. I grinded all the way to level 45 where Cubchoo learned Blizzard, and with the most powerful Ice-type move in the game at our disposal, this fight wasn't even a challenge anymore. I can almost afford Ice Beam at the game corner, so I'll be replacing Blizzard for Ice Beam for better accuracy at some point. Maxie's fight was a little intimidating, and not just because of Mighty Anna's ability, but because we had to rely on Blizzard's inaccuracy. Thankfully, we don't miss a single one, and we successfully one-shot all 3 of his Pokemon. Wow. Flannery is gonna be an issue because of one word. Torkoal. At level 57, Cubchoo learns the move Sheer Coal, which I thought I would use to cheese my way through this fight, but it turns out Cubchoo had his own plans as our Ice Beam freezes Torkoal, and after being healed, we just crit him for a one-shot. Well damn, I was just looking at the damage range, but I'll take a victory instead. Norman's fight was really easy because we not only outspeed his Slaking, but we also know Dig, so we dug underground when Slaking could attack, and attacked while he was loafing around. We wound up using all 10 of our digs, but by the time that happened, we could take out his second Slaking with an Ice Beam, so we pretty much just swept him. Although Brendan was a scary adversary the last time we fought him, he was a complete pushover this time around thanks to Cubchoo gaining access to the move Surf, one of the strongest moves and the most spammable attacks in the game. Winona was super easy as her 4 Pokemon each got O-code by a single Ice Beam. Sniffles is really out here putting in this work, isn't he? Wow, Tate and Liza were first try victories as well. 2 Mystic Water boosted Surfs were enough to defeat both Celestial Rocks. I'm starting to think the endgame of this challenge is where it's going to crank up the heat again. Maxie's fight was also easy. With the combination of Surf and Ice Beam, the only damage we sustained was a wing attack from Crobat, which actually did a good chunk of damage to us. Oh man, Wallace is going to be rough. Cubchoo struggles against water types, which is not only a problem for this fight, but the upcoming Glacia fight as well. I'll take a look through our moveset and see what we can learn to counteract this type. So after looking through all my options, the only move we have to counteract water types is Hidden Power, and lucky for us, we have a Hidden Power Grass. The problem is it's a very low base power, so we are probably better off teaching Cubchoo Crunch, which it gained access to in Generation 9. I'll stick with Hidden Power for now, equip the Miracle Seed, and level up some more and see how it goes. After getting to level 77 and equipping a Miracle Seed, it's still apparent that Return is the superior option against water types, as Hidden Power does very underwhelming damage. We still won by brute forcing this fight, but Glacia could be problematic in our upcoming fights. Just before exiting Victory Road is our final fight against Wally, but as always, this fight is a waste of footage as we mop the floor with his entire team yet again. I topped off our level at 80 with my rare candies, and here's what we're looking at. These stats are okay, they aren't anything special, but we have some hard-hitting moves, so that should definitely help in the Elite Four. As you can see, I also replaced that useless Hidden Power with Crunch, as I felt it would be an essential for defeating Phoebe. As I stated earlier, Cubchoo gained access to this move in Generation 9, so if you can learn it, why not use it? Make your final guesses in the comment section on whether or not we can win or not. Let's finish this. First up in Elite Four is Sydney, and I thought Ice Beam would be enough to freeze over his entire team, but Sharpedo managed to survive on like 1 HP and swagger us. Thankfully, we only hit ourselves once in confusion while Sydney healed, so we were able to sweep the rest of his team with a buffed up attack stat. You're not gonna believe this, y'all, but I forgot to buy healing items. Well, that's a first time for anything, I suppose. Either way, we were plowing through Phoebe's team until her second Dusclops came in and survived a crunch on a very low amount of HP, confused us, and we took ourselves out. Let me grab some healing items and the black glasses and try this fight again. After equipping the black glasses and gaining a level from rematching Sydney, we easily disposed of Phoebe this time around without ranges. I was so worried for Glacia's fight as we really don't have a surefire answer against her, but we beat her on our first attempt. Her first 3 Pokemon didn't use damaging moves as we landed a crit on Walrein to take it down in 2 hits. This Cubchoo's absolutely wild, I have no words at this point. To absolutely no one's surprise, Drake was a complete uncontested sweep as we outsped and O-code all of his Pokemon with Ice Beam. All that's left is the champion, Stephen Stone. Stephen's fight isn't horrible as we have an answer for all of his Pokemon except for Metagross. His Meteor Mash one-shots us, as you can see here. My one saving grace is that it isn't 100% accurate, and on top of that, we could get a crit for the potential one-shot, so I'll keep trying at this level. So, after a couple of attempts, it turns out a miss doesn't kill Metagross, nor does a crit. However, both a crit and a miss are what we needed, as we can 2-shot Metagross from full health since we outsped, and Aggron goes down to a single Surf, winning us the fight. With this victory, we register Cubchoo into the Hoenn Hall of Fame. I gotta say, this was a really good run. Although Cubchoo's stats are mediocre, his learn set is phenomenal by Gen 3 standards, and that's what helped us to claim victory in the end. For our next challenge, we're going to be doing something a little different that I've wanted to do for a while. Have you ever wondered why niche Pokemon like Wobbuffet have offensive stats when they have no offensive moves? Or what would an Unknown be like if it learned moves other than Hidden Power? I've been having questions like this from many of the quote-unquote niche Pokemon, and so I want to pioneer a new series on this channel where I take unique species and use them as they were unintentionally made. To start this series off, we're going to find out if we could beat Pokemon Gold using a power-tricked Shuckle, which is a Shuckle whose offensive stats and defensive stats have been swapped. So, if you don't want to miss that video, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Also, be sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. In the comment section, I want to know what your favorite part of today's run was. This has been your boy, Rare Boy, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace!